Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to this week's Energy Insight for November 11th to the 18th. My name is Jackie Ellis from JackieEllis.com, and I'm an intuitive guide and mentor, Reiki master. I see energy and I help people decode the energy within them so that they can transform their lives into a life that they love. Now, every week I give an energy insight, and I ask my guides to give me 3 messages for people, and that will help them through their journey in some way. And I also start out each of these messages with the area in our life that relates to our chakra system, our energy centers, that will help us work through what we need to work through, what we've been shown to work through in some way, and help us really step into our power for that week. I release these energy insights, the full version, for my Soul Talk members well in advance of the week, so that they have time to go through it and really sit with it and see how that might mean, what that might mean for their own personal journey, a way for them to really step into the week within their inner power. And then throughout the week, I will release each message that I'm given to the general public so that they may use that information, use that intuitive message for their own purpose as well. But those are given in piecemeal videos, and in the videos that I release to the general public, I keep the beginning part with how it relates to our inner power, our energetic centers, so that we can, you'll hear it over and over and over again, but sometimes hearing it over and over and over again will help you also really allow it to resonate within you, so that you can really start to understand. Now, for Soul Talk members, they have that information available to them readily, and other resources that are available in the Soul Talk membership. So they have already stepped into their journey in a way that this is just a refresher for them, and a way for them to just remember what these signs are when they're along the wider pathway, per se. So, without further ado, I'm going to talk about the overall week that we are in, what that means energetically, and what are the signs for the week that will show us that we might be in the shadows, we might be stuck in the shadows, we might have stepped in a little bit in the shadows and the wider pathway, and made things a little bumpier than what we expected it to be for the week. So the domain for this week, it is a waxing quarter moon, the week of November 11th to the 18th. And that's the domain for our lower chakras. Now, I'm going to show you the portion of the light mastery map and you can download this light mastery map through my website by signing up for any of the free resources and registering for my website, so that you can get access to the light mastery map and any other free resources that are available. So the lower chakras is the domain of our boundaries, our will, our support, our limits, our resources, and our space. So it's how we relate to those things, how we relate to the limits. What are the limits that we're willing to place, or that we're holding, that are preventing us from being who we want to be? Or what are the limits that we're willing to put in place that will honor ourselves in a more definitive way, and not allow outside forces to manipulate us or harm us in some way? It is really creating space for ourselves. It is knowing that we are supported completely and always by God, and being able to trust ourselves and know that we intuitively will have the resources provided to us if we don't have them already, or we have the resources available to us at any point in time if we are open to seeing them. When we are in the shadows, we will very much try to control situations in some way, or we're trying to unknowingly manipulate situations to turn out to be a specific outcome that we feel that's the outcome is best for us. It is when we're feeling disempowered, or we feel like we may be disempowering another person, or we find ourselves being disempowered by someone else in some way, it's probably because there's like some sort of boundary issue that is not being honored by yourself. It is feeling like you have an energetic wall where you feel disconnected in some way, or you feel like there's no wall of protection at all, or no protection at all. It is feeling kind of scattered energetically, where you feel like you're just trying to grab onto anything that you can possibly grab onto because of some sort of uncertainty that's happening in your life in some way. It is feeling rejection and abandonment and then reacting to those situations in some way. It is a very much an overwhelming energy when it spins out of control, when it spins down a negative loop. It's very overwhelming. And so breathe, just like I did now. Breathe. There is definitely the light mastery map will help you step into your power, help you alchemize that energy. As soon as you see those signs, those neon lights flashing, the light mastery map will help you step into your power in some way. And because what those triggers are those triggers and the trauma that's coming up for you is very much a sign showing you that there's some way that you can honor yourself in a much healthier way. It is understanding that you can trust yourself. It's an understanding that you need to love yourself more so that you can honor your boundaries and create the space that you need to be creative, but to also not only be creative, but also be aligned with the person that you, with your higher self. It is being able to act with integrity for not only for yourself, but towards other people, and honoring them in a way that is not lashing out at them, not not disempowering them or manipulating them in any way, but it is very much in being of service to yourself and other people at the same time. It is taking intuitive action on the things that you're being guided to do, and knowing that you're supported as you do it, even if it doesn't make sense. Even if it doesn't make sense. The second message that I got was, even the moon uses the light from the sun to light the darkness. Even the moon uses the light from the sun to light the darkness. So even though there may be dark times for some of you, even though you are noticing lots of mirrors coming up, lots of triggers, lots of things, lots of chaos internally that's coming up and ordering, that is love energy that is trying to order the chaos for you. And when we recognize that that's what it's doing, we can now send ourselves some love and allow ourselves to heal what we need to heal, see what we need to see, heal what we need to heal, and move forward in some way. Not everybody is on their journey. Everyone is on their own journey. There's going to be polarizing, not everyone's going to be at the same point in their journey as you. Not everyone's going to see things the same way as you. The perspectives might be different. People that, the same messages that you see, they will see, but they won't necessarily pick up on the same things that you have picked up on. So they'll be healing in a different way, or they may be choosing not to believe what they're seeing. It's really an issue versus an ish-me. If you're triggered, it's an ish-me. If the other person is triggered, it's an ish-them. And it's an issue. So if I'm triggered in some way, that's an ish-me. If I was talking with you and you were triggered, it's an issue. Same thing when you're talking with someone else. So it is, you know, if you're honestly, like if you are thinking that someone has overstepped a line that you've set in some way, and you were triggered by that, how did they get across that line? If our natural bubble, if our natural boundaries are solid and we are protected always, the only way that someone can get across that line is if we allowed them to in some way. And we may have allowed them to because we weren't honoring our own boundaries for ourselves. And that could be a goal that we had set for ourselves that we weren't working towards. It could mean that, you know, we wanted to be kinder to ourselves and not judge ourselves more often, not judge ourselves as much, and to love ourselves through the journey. But we had been spending quite a bit of time in our unconscious mind judging ourselves. We weren't honoring our own boundaries in some way. And so noticing that and being able to work through that without reacting towards the other person is huge, because then we're not projecting our stuff onto the other person. But I also want you to know that during this point in the message, for some people, having to do this work is very much a death in some sort. It's the death of their old self and a rebirth into their new self. And that, as someone who's actually had a very disruptive short period of time where I did truth rants multiple times a day, massive truth rants for long periods of time of the day, for everything that came up. It was little wave, little wave, little wave, little wave, little wave, little wave, little wave. I didn't wait for the massive waves. I did every little thing. And I just allowed them to come in and come in and come in and come in. And with each one, I healed a little bit more, and I healed a little bit more, and I healed a little bit more. And there came a point where I literally felt like I was going through a death, shedding that ego self. My ego self was dying and being rebirthed into a person that really truly was honoring my purpose for this life. There could be people that chose a lifestyle that was not necessarily honorable for them or other people, that may have hurt people in the process. And they honestly feel like they are doing this out of alignment with what they're supposed to do for the greater good of mankind, or for the greater good of themselves. They honestly believe that those rituals that they follow or the things that they were doing were best. Were best. And this is where my heart hurts, because they didn't know. Or they may have felt trapped and felt like they couldn't get out. They weren't supported. They didn't feel supported enough to be able to break free of that situation. And so, for some, life will feel pretty uncertain, and anxiety may be triggered by the uncertainty in many ways, in massive ways. For some that were in deep in shady practices, they may not survive this life. They may judgments might be coming for them in some way. Where they'll have choices to make in a different plane on this earth. For those that are feeling anxious about the uncertainty, I've been told to make sure that I talk about safety strategies in some way. Safety strategies are things that we do to make us feel better about something that we're not sure about, that is like possibly going to make us feel anxious or worried about something. But they are actually triggers themselves that trigger the anxiety, that pull us deeper into that loop. And so for me, when it comes to uncertainty, I have to be very aware of my safety strategies that I have around uncertainty. Um, it Some of my strategies were very much a plan and schedule and make sure I follow that plan and schedule. It is, it's me checking and double checking and triple checking um, certain things that may not have to do with um, anything in particular, but it's not me trusting myself that I've done what I needed to do. Um, so what I do when I notice myself being kind of anxious or worried, start to worry about uncertainty in life, uncertainty as to what's going on around me, how I'm going to navigate that, how I'm going to work through that, how my life is going to look going forward, all of those questions, is I consciously make a decision to do things that are increasing my tolerance to uncertainty. It is training my brain to know that I can trust myself. It is recognizing when I do things that are very trustworthy for myself. It is recognizing, allowing myself to just go with the flow on certain large periods of time in my life. So, and if that means I roll the dice and choose what I'm like, literally write 6 actions down that are fun and enjoyable and roll the dice. Whatever the dice lands on, that's what I do that's fun and enjoyable. It is a game of chance. It is uncertain what I'm going to do, but it's reprogramming my brain, rewiring my brain to know that not everything that is uncertain is harmful, is something to be scared about. There's some things that sometimes uncertainty brings oftentimes uncertainty will bring abundance, will bring possibility, will bring things that are far better than we could have ever imagined. But if we don't allow ourselves to be open to that, then we're essentially trying to control or manipulate ourselves into believing that we need to have some sort of control in order to enjoy what God is trying to bring to us. What if we released that control and allowed it to flow instead of trying to use some sort of water dam to control the flow of water or control the flow of stuff to us? What if we just allowed it to cleanse us and be able to receive it with love, no matter what it was? No matter what it was. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I really, really do appreciate you all being here and being with me through every step of this. I'm sending you all much love. If you'd like to share the love in any way, please share, like, or subscribe to this channel if you have not done so. If you haven't done that yet, if you'd like to give back in any way, I have a link in the description of the video that allows you to buy me a virtual coffee. I help use these funds to help support my family. And there is a Soul Talk membership that I talked about briefly near the beginning of this video, and it's moderately priced on purpose so that more people can afford to make the transformations that they want within their life. I love you all dearly. Until next time, be simply you.